Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation, and I'm so glad you're visiting. This topic is, why does my husband find fault in everything I do? This is a really good topic, and there's a reason for it. So stay with me on this, because I'm not just going to answer the question. I mean, we're not an encyclopedia, although the Marriage Foundation is unique in that we actually have marital teachings. I used to be a divorce mediator, and I became a marriage saver way back in 2001 and really evolved how to help people with their marriages. And so a lot of it is right here for free. You could get it for free, and when you subscribe, you'll get so much information. But if your marriage is on a slide towards divorce, you got to do more. Maybe get one of the books, maybe get the course for women. But this topic will really show you how deep this whole thing about marriage actually is. And in case you have forgotten the topic, it's my husband finds fault in everything I do, and you want to know why. So I'm going to answer that right now. The reason is, and I think you know this, it's because he's not happy. He is not happily married. Now, when you first were dating, he didn't find fault in anything that you did. What changed? What changed was both of you. What happens is, and I really discovered this when I was a divorce mediator, and I saw how people were talking to each other, people who were married, had children together, who supposedly at one time before they were getting divorced loved each other deeply. And now they were mean to each other. And I call it over familiarity. You get used to being with somebody and you feel you could say anything that you want. And the closer you are to someone, the easier it is. And it gets even worse. Because you're close to them, no one knows your husband as well as you do. No one knows you as well as your husband does. This is what's happening, but we are not taught anything about marriage. So what happens? Inevitably, unless you learn how to be married, what happens is you start digging at each other, complaining, criticizing, you're being mean. And when a husband starts finding fault in everything that you do, it's a clear sign, it's as clear as the sun, that he's not happy. And he's not happy because you are not giving, and I'm not putting all the blame on you, don't misunderstand, okay? I'm giving you a cause and effect. You're not putting into your marriage, into him, that love and that beautiful kindness, that gentleness, the sweetness that he expected to have. Now, easily you can say, well, he's not giving me either. And God, if you want to support some marriage therapist, tell them that. We don't do that. We're all about saving your marriage, way beyond saving your marriage. We're more about turning your marriage, you turning your marriage into this heaven on earth. Because marriage was created to be a heaven on earth. Don't you know that? There's even a term, they don't use it anymore. It's called marital bliss. But it's real. Marital bliss is when both of you are so considerate, so loving, and you're so filled with joy, you can't even take it. And that's how marriage is supposed to be. Every day is supposed to be better than yesterday. It's supposed to be happier. It's supposed to be more loving, more harmonious. That's how a marriage is supposed to be. But right now, people have gotten used to bickering. You should never bicker in your marriage. Arguing, you should never argue. There should be no rules of argument. There should be a rule against arguing. You can have the most amazing marriage. Marriage is intended to be a place where you learn to love unconditionally. And so don't be satisfied with what you have. Don't focus on this one little thing that he's finding fault in everything you do. He's mad at you. You know that. This is no big secret. You don't need a degree in psychology for that. He's mad at you. What do you do when you're mad at somebody? You find fault in everything they do. And that's what's going on here. But make up your mind, I'm not going to correct him. I'm going to correct me. I'm going to go back to how I used to be. If you need help, and you probably do, get one of the books or get the course for women, but you really deserve to have an amazing marriage. You don't have to go through this. This is terrible. You know, this is what I saw. When I was a divorce mediator, I believed in the divorce. My friends were all psychologists, and they would send me their clients who they failed with, and which was virtually all of them, and I would help them get a divorce. And then one couple said, well, you know, they literally started to cry, both the man and the woman said, we don't really want a divorce, but we went to the therapist, we went through marriage counseling, and this is where we are now. Can you help us? Because even at that time, I was an expert communicator. And so they thought, and many people do believe this, that communication is at the crux of all the problems, and it isn't. It isn't. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of learning how to master your mind. You know, people say learn to behave, but it goes much deeper than that. And that's what we do. So now we have thousands and thousands of people who have already taken our courses, already read the books over 20 years, and you could read the testimonials, and that's what you should do so you could see what's going on. You may be fine just watching these videos, and that's what we want. We just want you to be fine, whatever it takes. And if it's just the free stuff, yay, I'm excited for you. We're a nonprofit. So go to themarriagefoundation.org. Now, if you've been following me and you get it, and you are already a therapist, or you're clergy, or you're a relationship facilitator, become a TMF marriage counselor, because we want to start going back on the ground. You know, the only reason I stopped working with couples, and I did it for 7 years or 8 years, I had to stop because unfortunately in 2008 my son passed away. I just couldn't meet with people anymore. So now we're going to go back to teaching people again how to be a TMF marriage counselor. And by the way, a TMF marriage counselor, we don't do other things. We don't do PTSD stuff. We don't do grief we don't do any of that. We're not therapists. As a group, we are marriage counselors, strictly marriage. Now, it also includes helping people before they get married and that kind of thing, even dating. We have a course for that. But we're not a branch of Western psychology by any means. So, subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'm so glad you stopped by. I sure hope this was helpful for you. And let me know. God bless you and take care. Thank you.